Are we a chance against Brisbane?
Yep, they never win at the G.
You know what? I think we are a chance against
No, you said this is about Port as well.
Mate, I'm delighted that you attribute such cosmic significance to me and my predictions. Well, if I say Hawthorn's going to win, well, of course we must be losing. That's what
Well, you
you're
lack
saying.
confidence against St Kilda and we won. So let's lack confidence this week, Nick. If we can do that for the side, that'll be good.
All right, fine.
Butler sends it on its way, and Sammy Butler has put it through. A dribbler by Butler. Meets there, gets to Lewis, has a hurried snap, gets some curve on it, Mitch Lewis loves it with 4. McDonald, ducks, dive, snaps, goes. McDonald wants someone to come towards him. In the end, he has to dump it long. Kaczynski, McKenna, Kaczynski plays on. Big goal that one. And he lifts the MCG for his second goal of the afternoon. He's going to have to thread it from Mighty Mouse to Lion Killer.
Yes, indeed, it was the finest win of Sam Mitchell's coaching career, and in many ways, the upset of the season. The handball happy Hawks were electric, slicing and dicing Brisbane en route to a 25-point win. My name is Nick Mason, and joining me as always is my co-host Tiz. Forget the power of positivity, mate. As per your request, I reined in my expectations on my way to the G. I genuinely thought Brisbane would boot a few goals and cruise to victory, but that was just the cosmic lift that the Hawks needed, mate.
What an enjoyable occasion.
Very enjoyable afternoon at the G.
It was great to be back at the G. It was good to see Gunston out there. That was nice.
Yeah, you like his game?
I didn't mind it. and look, that is an incredible performance by a side that I thought was losing touch at halftime, and then again the first few minutes of the third quarter, I thought, oh, look out. Mm-hmm. And then they steadied themselves. They went on the attack. They look far more able when they're attacking. And then we just had a standout performance from a lot of the young fellas, built on the efforts of Impey and Sicily in the back half.
Something has changed with our third quarters, right? Because we'd been calling for it. Like, what is it that's being said at halftime? What is the missing piece? Well, it didn't matter if they were being done by, I don't know, say 80-plus points against Port Adelaide. It didn't matter if Brisbane had just booted 3 in a row in quick succession to really take the wind out of our sails. Both weeks, the team has come out after the main break and just went, nah, stuff it, let's go for it.
Yeah, it's easy to have a target, isn't it, for the boys? It's easy to have a target, know what they need to do. I think they redoubled their efforts. I'm pretty sure that Sammy kept exactly the same strategy throughout the game.
Yeah, same.
I think they just got better at implementing it. Mm-hmm. And I feel that there was that moment in the match where we watched McCluggage walk around the boundary line having been injured, and we'll get to that incident later. Uh-huh. But that was a moment for me where I thought, are they going to have the wherewithal to double down their efforts and keep concentrating here? Or is it going to be, we've seen in the past, teams lose concentration and lets the other team break back in. And it was a key moment, and Hawthorn just kept going on with it.
Yeah, that was my concern too. But as you say, they kept the foot down, and it was brilliant to watch. I mean, we were on all day. It really felt like, and I think I tweeted as much at quarter time, that we had our game going and Brisbane was scrambling to stop us, which is not what I thought heading into the game.
Well, we were making them look slow.
Yes.
Their ball movement was, well, they tried to react to ours. They didn't want to be doing all the work, and we were making them do a lot of work to defend. Mm-hmm. So they slowed down the ball movement, and then we started picking it off and taking it. And there were a couple of times where I thought the cooler heads in our side actually slowed the game down a bit themselves and just played for position, field position. But,
which, hey, that's that maturity creeping in. That's what we've been calling for.
Yeah, and then we saw some great contests from Cozzy and Mitch Lewis. And Mitch Lewis kicks 4 and doesn't get a coach's vote. And I'm like, that is a big tick. That is a big tick. Because a year ago, he kicks 4. We'll give him a vote. We'll give him a vote. You know, encouragement.
Played better than Eric Hipwood, who got 1. Gee, I wonder who gave him that.
But to me, it says the expectations on him are that much higher now.
Oh, absolutely.
Higher than Eric's. Even.
That's true.
Actually, that, you know, it wasn't Eric Hipwood versus Brand kind of bad, but he did play all right.
Yeah, I thought our backline as a cohesive unit did pretty well. to quell the influence of the forwards overall. I mean, Cameron, what did he finish with? About 2 goals, probably. He didn't have an amazing day, and Danaher did bloody nothing.
Yeah, Danaher, I just lament all that talent going to waste. He looks bored and
Yeah, he does.
he's dishonest with the footy. You know how you have honest players?
Yeah,
They're definitely dishonest. We held a few of their other players too. Berry and Bailey have been good against us, and it was just a very structured approach to attack as well, because they had their best defensive line for a long time.
Yep.
And I know there were a couple of youngsters brought into this lineup by Devon Robertson, but he was great until about half time, and then he sort of fell away. But look, you can't go past Connor McDonald's performance.
The man of the moment. This is a breakout game.
A lot of people were talking about, rising star. Hated to break it to them. 20 games in his first year.
Yep.
We knew he was good. We kept playing him.
That's right.
But has it been a month since he was dropped from the lineup?
Oh, something like that.
Yeah. So, bit of a kick in the bum. And Connor McDonald absolutely produces his best game to date. And it was a delight to see him picking off options as he chose.
28 touches at 75% disposal efficiency, 444 metres gained, 20 pressure acts, 12 score involvements. Wow.
That's enormous.
2 goals for himself in all that. Led the coaches' votes with 9 overall. We had a question from one of our subscribers, Jackson. Last few years, top draft picks, including DGB, Ward and Frenchie. Is Connor McDonald the best of the lot? His decision-making is elite, and he has that genuine X-factor we are lacking a little bit. And who do we look at with this first year's pick? Surely some X-factor forward.
You didn't think Brocky was X-factor enough?
No, I thought he was. I actually really like Brockman in this lineup, and I don't see any reason for him to fall out anytime soon.
He's mercurial. He, comes in and out of form. We lost Bruce, of course, during this match, which I thought would challenge us a lot.
But even there you see Mackenzie, just such a dab hand, being a sub.
Isn't it great to see Mackenzie come on and he just gets the ball? It's this miraculous talent to be in the right spot.
Finished with 12 touches, I think. It's a tidy bit of business, for not much game time.
So let's just talk about Connor McDonald.
Yes.
Now, so there was a knock on him for endurance, right? Which is why he played a lot at Box Hill, and then they were chucking him into the midfield at Box Hill and looking at him to win his own ball, and because he was playing on the outside, he's waiting for the ball. This that kind of wasn't really in the moment, and he was thinking too much. Well, that is the kind of role I want for Connor McDonald. There's not many players that can do this.
Well, that combination of instinct and class.
Yeah, but it's the option taking. He takes the right option more often than not, and it's the unexpected option that actually works.
Yeah,
which is stuff we used to see from Cyril. Hodge would do it, Lewis could do it, even Sammy could do it. And this is the first time we're seeing it out of one of the young fellas.
Yeah.
And on a consistent basis. So he's going to be great fun to watch.
Is Jackson on the money? Because he's probably my top pick at the moment from that draft class.
Yes. Yeah. He's definitely best of his class.
I just love watching him play. He has a silkiness about him that's just unparalleled with that draft class.
There's still a lot of upside to him.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what's exciting.
12 score involvements is absolutely enormous. We had Duke Nukem with 11. Is he still called Duke? We don't do that much anymore.
Well, he certainly nukes him.
And then Dylan Moore he extended his form line with 10 scoring involvements as well. So
many players to talk about here.
Yeah.
We in the rundown, we've just listed about a third of the team. It was a very even effort, but nevertheless, we had some standouts.
Can we just talk about the feeling for 35,000 being in that stadium? We had 3 train lines down, replaced by buses.
Yeah.
And even then, they wouldn't let us use the car parking lot.
Yeah.
Right? Who manages these things? I do not know, but I'd love to meet them in a dark alley. Okay. Anyway, we would have got way more than 35,000 if that hadn't been the case. Numerous people were writing to me and going, look, I couldn't even get a bus.
Yeah, right.
It's just hopeless.
But nevertheless, the noise,
the atmosphere, were you there at at that moment, well, we saw it during the week, and it's probably why I'm making the association with when Buddy Franklin kicked that goal in 2007 against Adelaide.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You were in the crowd?
Yeah, I was in standing room. I almost fainted.
And that awakening?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the only way I can describe it. It's like an awakening.
Yeah.
Well, there was something of that on Saturday.
That's a huge call.
That's how
True.
it felt to me, because it was a
I know
new
what you
generation
mean. Yeah, I know what you mean.
strutting their stuff.
The crowd, there was a unique electricity about it, and it is what you're talking about.
And it was a sound that
Yes.
came out of us.
Yeah, it was this collective recognition of, gee, I reckon we've got something here to build on.
It was real excitement.
Yeah,
It wasn't, yay, we just kicked the goal.
yeah.
It was, look at how we're moving the footy. This
Yes.
feels really good.
Well, also the recognition, and it's always a very special time in the match, especially when you're not expected to win,
Yeah.
is when you've got a heavyweight opponent on the ropes. And Hawthorn are moving the ball in the way that they do, and you're like, this is just unbelievable. We're looking for the KO here.
So, in the hours after the match, go out to dinner and enjoy the revelry of it
Yes.
all. And then I'm thinking about how I felt watching this happen. And then the next day I'm like, was it really that good? I'm trying to talk myself down, you know? And then I go and look at the stats and I'm like, look at this. Meekie's turned up. Sicily's massive again, but not imperative, you know?
This is what I'm talking about. There's so many players who did their bit, honestly.
Will Day, you know, Newcomb with that amazing third quarter. Mm-hmm. Like, he just set himself the task and went
Right, well,
forward.
I'm going to have to tie us down
You're
to
gonna-
talking
are you?
one player at
Oh,
a time.
all
Okay,
right.
let's you bring him up. Let's talk about Jai Newcomb. 28 disposals, 11 score involvements, a team high 9 inside 50s, 5 centre clearances, and it's that third term tiers, 12 touches.
Yeah.
He's a guy that saw what happened at the end of the second quarter. Bang, bang, bang went Brisbane, and Jai went, nah, not having that.
So 12 touches, and, 6 was the max out of a Lions player that quarter.
Yeah, wow. It's literally doubled their efforts.
Yeah. Dunkley had it 5 times. If they didn't have Dunkley, and got to remember he's a ring-in this year,
That's right, yeah.
they're in a world of pain there.
One of our listeners, Andrew, wonders if Jai Newcomb could be a quiet chance to finish top 5 in the Brownlow.
Ooh. Well, I don't mind it. Who's taking? Connor Nash, is he going to? Yes, he can.
I would say
He's very eye-catching.
Newcomb would get the bulk of the votes. Top 5, I don't think so, and that's not a knock on Newcomb or anything like that. It's just, I think, when you talk about eye-catching, there are other eye-catching players in the league which I think would earn the umpire's attention more than Nuke.
When they play us as well.
Yeah.
What did you think of Brocky up the field, especially early in the game? Because that was exciting to me. That's a new place for him to be.
Yeah, exactly. He's got the mercurial factor about him. He's got the running power.
Also good decision making, though.
Yes, and good disposal.
Yes.
I like that he's not simply a one-dimensional goal sneak.
But that's going to be good for him because he can work up the ground, work
That's right.
back, and lose his opponent.
Yes, that's right. And make them look very silly on the end of a chain. I mean, he has the touch of the Puopolo about him. That's what he could be.
Yeah. Well, 293 metres gained for Brocky is good.
Need to talk about James Sicily. First for the right reasons. 32 touches, 12 marks, 7 rebound 50s, 478 metres gained. However, for as awesome as Sicily was, yet again...
Yeah, but now I want to mention Brocky again because he's obviously clouded that whole incident. I actually,
That's true.
From the stands, I thought that I've just forgotten his name. McCluggage had hit the hip of Brocky, but on the replay you find that that's not the case. Speaking of replays and Brockman, why didn't we get to see the Brocky mark replayed at the ground?
Yeah, no, that's true.
Massive.
Touch of the Cyril about him. Wearing the number 33, mind you.
No.
That wing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a bit of that nostalgic feeling. I just wanted to mention for AJ, I thought that, Hardwick did very well in the Legends number again. Mm-hmm.
AJ not happy that that's constantly rehashed. But he's got a fair point. Friend of the show, AJ, is saying that, can we stop referring to Luke Hodge? Hardwick's been at the club
Wearing
for a
that
long
Guernsey for
time.
6 years now.
Yeah, I think he owns the number 15 now, and fair enough. You're tiptoeing around it. We have to talk about Sicily. Because
For me, it's a
tonight-
non-issue.
Well,
Because that shouldn't, like, at no point does he restrict his arms. There's also, you can't count for Brockman. He's
Yes.
only ever pulled him into his own waist from the hips. The arms are still out. McCluggage could have protected himself. Then his head hits the turf. Unfortunately, there's no malice. There's no
of
forethought
course
in
not.
it either.
no.
And then we had to go through the charade of him not getting on the stretcher mobile or whatever it's called, and then walking around the boundary line.
Tell me your response to that.
I understood, that he doesn't want to get on it because he can't come back on.
Yeah.
But then if he has been knocked out, then he's not come back on anyway.
Correct.
So get on it.
Yep.
And then for him to wander around the boundary and for the umpires to be waiting for that to happen. Did they think something was going to happen if he was outside the
I
boundary
have
to it?
no clue what
So-
anyone was thinking there.
So I joined in it only lasted about 12 seconds of, displeasure
In this,
that I expressed through the form of booing.
during this...
And it was not directed at the injured player, it was directed at the authorities in charge.
Yeah, no, it's not on McCluggage. It's not his fault.
I reckon. I
This
love watching McCluggage.
Lap of dishonour. Half lap of dishonour.
It was such a stupid thing.
Oh, it
to
was very
occur.
strange. It was very strange. I must admit, I did partake in the booing myself.
And that would have been a formidable boo, given your voice.
Well, it's not something I usually engage in, but I just...
Do you find yourself just going the lower octave on the crowd, just trying to deepen that sound they create?
Yeah, I'm not going to do it into the mics now. Let's blow out the levels, mate. Got to keep our production values, you know how it is.
The longer longitudinal wave travels a bit further, more likely to reach the ump, that kind of thing.
I rarely boo, but I just didn't understand it. It would have taken less time to just go across the field.
Yeah.
What were they thinking?
Yeah.
And again, it's not McCluggage's fault. Anyway, as we're recording this, Sicily is going to go to the tribunal tonight.
Yep.
We're a good couple of hours before he sits for that.
And then the appeal will be what? Thursday night?
Yeah, well, the appeal feels inevitable. They can't let this go.
Well, they let that little prick from Essendon, who obviously tried to hurt the bloke.
Oh, I don't understand. How Merritt was just cleared off the bat. It doesn't make any sense.
Do you reckon it's a possibility that James is cleared off the bat?
Nah, no way. I mean, I'll obviously hope so, but if they're going through the rigmarole of going to the tribunal, you can't just let him walk out of there.
Okay.
They'll hit him with something. It's a
It's
crying
ridiculous
shame because...
there's no malice.
No, well, it is the quintessential tackle in a lot of ways. And we know this
Well,
because...
it's the same as the Butler one. I'm pissed off about the Butler one.
Oh, the Butler one's silly. Even to some extent for me, the Mansell one is a bit over the top, giving
Right.
3+ weeks for that. Maybe people will disagree with that, but I think that's a bit silly. Sicily was awarded holding the ball. The umpire on the spot confirms what we're all thinking, and that is...
The angle of McCluggage heads is a problem,
Yeah,
but that's not in Sicily's control.
But this is the thing. If you're going to tackle, how much can you reasonably control?
And we've
as
seen
the
Lockie
person
Neal.
tackling?
We've seen Lockie Neal, deliberately try to fool the umpire into thinking it was a dangerous tackle,
Yep.
which I think is abhorrent. And this is what happens if you create this kind of feedback loop for the players. If they can exaggerate something into looking like a dangerous tackle, or throwing the head back in years gone by, it's all the same stuff. Dropping the knees to try and get collected in the head.
And some people listening might think to themselves, oh, well, no one would be silly enough to put themselves at risk like that. Yes, they would. You don't understand. That is the competitive beast
wanna
in the
win.
head of each player who will do something that reckless to gain a competitive advantage. I guarantee it.
Yeah, of course.
It will be exploited.
I don't think many people would doubt that most of them are willing to do most things. Now, I want to talk about Jarman Impey and just how exciting it is that he is back to a form line where, all those knee issues are behind him. He is looking terrific.
Yeah, question from Jackson again here. I feel like Impey's form over the past month or so has been one of the reasons for our turnaround. He's back to that form he had before he did his ACL. Now, I looked into that. Worth noting that right now he's averaging...
Did you actually do the stats?
Yeah. He's averaging 21 touches at an average of 78.8% disposal efficiency. So he's finding a lot of the footy, and he's using it quite well. Also averaging 5.5 marks and 345 metres gained. This is on par in many ways with, I think, his 2021 season, which is post-ACL.
Right.
So, he's having a career best year, any way you slice it.
Yeah, he's just... And Scrimshaw played quite well in a side that won.
Well, before we get to Scrimshaw, I just want to note that really good time to sign Impey.
Oh, yeah.
Contract extension till the end of 2026. Turned it on this game with 28 touches, 85.7% disposal efficiency, 12 marks, 5 tackles. But as you say, he wasn't the only one performing pretty well in the back line.
So Scrimmer actually posted some of his best pressure points this year. And he got 3 tackles, and that's out of the 50 tackles we laid on the day.
Mm-hmm.
How many tackles do you reckon Brisbane did? More or less? Just more or less.
Less.
71 tackles.
Okay.
Shows you how much we had the ball.
Yes.
Beat him to the contest.
Lauren had a question on Scrimshaw, actually, more of a comment, I suppose. Severely underrated game from Scrimmer. Was told to go back to Box Hill and work on his one-on-one game. He was put to the test on Danaher and Hipwood and held his own, 19 touches at 94%. I've missed him. Am I the only one? With Sicily potentially out for a while, he could be crucial.
Yeah, crucial to our top 8
ambitions. Is that right?
I saw someone did a ladder predictor today. My first question was, how's Geelong made the 8? And we were sitting snug in 7th. I was like, oh, that would be a dream, wouldn't it? But I don't think it's going to happen, especially not with Sicily out.
So, what were your feelings from...
You are darting all over the place. You've still got that elation about you. You're buzzing.
Yeah, but I want to hear about the buzz that was over your side of the ground.
Well, I was actually sitting in front of M10. I thought, well, we'll just sneak in. We'll take a seat. Yeah. I don't want to be far away from my usual mob, but I just thought, we'll sit for this match because I reckon we can. And we did.
Yep.
It was exactly as you described before. And, I was elated to see a lot of great Mitch Lewis play. Obviously, my man Mitch turning up again, who's become, well, some would say, and not necessarily me, so I'll jump out ahead of that, some would say he's the most important player in the team.
Who said that?
At Hawk Talk Pod, if you think that, just hit us up. Look, he has become the go-to target. We look demonstrably better when he's in the side. And he plays like he's the go-to target. He is a colossus up forward. Finished with 4 goals, 1 again, 3 tackles inside 50. Hawthorn had a total of 16 tackles inside 50. Do you remember, Tiz, the other way? It might have been against Port Adelaide. I don't remember. But we had a week recently where Luke Bruce
was the only
tackle inside 50 for the game.
Yep.
Now we've had 16.
Excellent.
So impressive, the improvement there.
That leads me to the moment I thought we were on.
Yeah.
And that is Sammy Butler running into the 50 and then doing the sumptuous dribble.
The sumptuous, as the AFL website called it, the sumptuous dribble.
Which I'm going to have to leave because that's great. A
sumptuous dribble.
Yeah.
And it was right in front of me.
Jeez, you're on a roll.
I loved it. That was great.
Sumptuous dribble. It's Gordon Ramsay's watching the footy apparently. Just think of the gift. The flavours are there. Sumptuous dribble from Butler. How many times can we squeeze that into the podcast before we're done this evening? Anyway, the other forward that we need to make note of, Mitch Lewis's partner in crime. We released a T-shirt on Redbubble. I'm giving that a plug.
One of the worst sellers of all time.
I don't see why, because they are becoming the double acts that Hawthorn really has needed and been crying out for.
What does it say on the T-shirt again?
That there are bruiserweights.
Bruiserweights.
Yeah, because wasn't it Kaczynski that knocked out Lewis?
Oh, yes.
In training, they were.
Yeah.
And now no one's allowed to bloody.
That's right.
Do anything in the ring anymore.
Hawthorn revolutionising the comp once again. But this is look. Clearly, it's very niche.
A very tasteful.
It's a very tasteful and very niche T-shirt, but it has Lewis and Cozzy as the tall timber, as the 2 targets at the Hawthorn Football Club. We saw it on the weekend against Brisbane. Jacob Kosicki, just the 6 disposals, but 3 very important and timely goals. A team-high 3 contested marks.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we've been hoping for. Cozzy is a guy and I'm so rapt for him, because we're beginning to see the confidence come back. And you can see it in real time.
It's a determination too.
Yes, absolutely. The physicality is there as well, the willingness to compete, and he's getting reward for effort. It's fantastic to see.
So basically, everyone gets a pass this week. I thought Blank was good too.
Blank was good too. Dylan Moore, we've barely mentioned, 25 touches, 19 pressure acts, 10 score involvements, kicked 2 goals too, including the sealer.
Our rucks were very good. Very happy with that. McInerney, obviously a very good ruckman, but...
Some other honourable mentions I want to get to. Carl Amon, I think, just an outstanding recruit. Can't speak highly enough. Josh Weddle keeps on keeping on. Seamus Mitchell returns to the lineup, and he's still as good as gold for such a young guy. Connor Nash is still fantastic. Some team stats for you. Obviously, we're the handball happy Hawks. That's the word that's going around.
Yeah. So is it? What's the ratio now? Because we were talking about how Warper was running it at 2 handballs to every 1 kick. Mm-hmm. Did he maintain that again?
I'm not actually sure. I need to look into that. But 211 handballs to 116 for the Lions. That is a huge disparity there.
Yeah.
Interestingly, we lost the clearances fairly convincingly.
And the free kicks.
Well, I'm not surprised about that.
Fairly convincingly.
But yeah, go figure. 47 to 27 clearances. Yeah. We lost that pretty bad. But won the inside 50, 62 to 46. That's a good margin there.
Yeah, one of the things that I really loved about the performance is this little stat, and this is the real feedback that you need on field. Hawthorn, 24 shots with a 63% accuracy, highest for the year, expected score 81, actual score 98.
Yeah, wow.
That's great. Brisbane Lions, they nearly hit their expected score, but they had 21 shots. Okay, so not a very big difference. And Hawthorn's pressure was only higher than the Brisbane Lions during the 4th quarter.
Wow, okay.
We controlled the ball very, very well on the weekend, and that says to me that's a sustainable model of football.
This is the template. This game, Hawthorn v Brisbane, round 13, exemplifies how Hawthorn want to play.
Yeah, if we're allowed to play that way.
Well, that's right. But if we find a way, we can reach our damaging best. And it is so exciting to watch. And the fact that this is the start of it, we're still betting this down, and we're already seeing these signs. It's just so good.
Now, it won't happen every week, will it, Nick?
No, it won't.
We can't play finals or anything.
No, I don't know. I'm ruling that out. But no, it's great to see. We've got some winnable games coming up, which we'll get to that in a second. We had this question from Brendan first. He points out, well, it's not really a question, he says. Our best forward, mid and defender were pick 76, mid-season draft, and pick 56. Not really a question, just a note that high picks aren't always everything.
No, it's development, isn't it? And, we've had our share of development flops, but if you can get a crew around the same age and get them to challenge one another, that's half. We have a very good club ethic about getting better with every game. We always hear learnings, which I know is terrible to hear in the press, but that's how they work. And we're starting to see how Sam Mitchell's sort of goal setting for them is making them all work together and work as a team, even though they have individual, they want to be in the side, they have to keep their spot. But their progress is great as a side, and I love that at the end of the game, this was Dylan Moore on the Sunday Footy Show said, Sammy said, now you've played and had a good win against a good side today with 35,000. Yeah. You'll know how good you are when you win in front of 80,000, which is an interesting way to congratulate and also make them enthusiastic about a bigger challenge.
Yeah, it's the carrot, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what you're chasing after. You like this? Just wait.
Yeah.
Work hard and you'll really enjoy it.
But it's not... He didn't have to push down their achievement today.
No, that's right. But this is
he celebrated that, but it's like, this is even better. Let me tell you about it.
Exactly. Well, it's the balance that a good coach needs to strike.
Yeah.
And it sounds like he's done exactly that. You're talking about development before. Well, we need to talk about the Box Hill Hawks having a stunning win over the Brisbane Lions on their home deck. 16-13, 109, defeated 12-18, 90. Undefeated no more, the Brisbane Lions. They were ladder leaders. And, Box Hill handed them their first loss of the season.
Yeah, okay. So there's one thing that really frustrated me out of this game. It's one Jed to rule them all. It's just... What is going on with this man?
Oh, boy. You don't know it yet, but I've underscored this with a bit of Ja Rule. I mean, we need to welcome him back in fine fashion, don't we? He slides back into the lineup for the first time since round one, kicks 3 goals on one of the best sides in the comp. Thank you very much. I mean... Where has he been? I've heard he's been playing for Heidelberg.
Yeah. Well, that's where he's been.
But why hasn't he been playing for Box Hill?
And where's Ryan? Ryan still hasn't turned up.
Brandon Ryan might still be serving a suspension. I'll need to look
What
into
did
that
he
as
do?
well. I heard he got 3 weeks for something. Anyway. Let me research that.
There's not a lot. I looked it up. I'm like, where is this on the VFL website? I couldn't find any listings. But
anyway, Jed
there's
Rule.
a lot of blokes putting their hands up to come back into the Hawthorn lineup.
Oh, you done talking about Jed Rule? I thought we had more on him.
No, well, I mean, it's 3 goals.
Like it's
comes out of the ether again. Looks terrific, and no one goes, oh.
Hawthorn apparently were having a look at him at some stage this year.
Yeah.
They were contemplating
Hair's
selecting
grown
him.
a bit.
It has. No, it's a good look, but even better was 3 goals against such a top side. That was awesome. I mean, Hawthorn, the Box Hill Hawks did this in convincing fashion, took the ascendancy early in the piece, and then just proceeded to see off every challenge thrown at them. The Lions kept on coming back. Good sides will. Good sides won't lay down. And Brisbane kept on throwing everything they had, and Box Hill just kept on swatting those challenges away.
Chad Wingard back in the lineup next week? Oh, no, we've got a bye.
Well, do you want to talk about Chad?
Well,
First state league game in 12 years. He did actually run out there. Couldn't quite believe my eyes.
Hey, listen. His demeanour was perfectly fine.
Yeah, it was. I agree.
Yeah.
He handled the occasion very well.
He could have had 3 goals. He kicked 1 goal. He had 5 inside 56 marks, 14 disposals. Did enough.
Yep.
Wasn't exceptional.
No.
But
It was about
certainly moved better than the average VFL
He was
player.
giving more than what he was giving at AFL level.
You reckon?
Well, as well he should.
He was getting involved more.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was more industrious, for one. He looked a class above at times, but does he get straight back into the lineup? It's hard to mount a case
Well,
for
he wasn't as loud as Harry Morrison.
No.
Harry Morrison was very loud in that I'm better than this.
Yeah, that's what
Find
he
a
seems
place
to be.
for me.
He seems to be saying that. He's clearly putting his hand up, saying, I'm too good to be kept down here. Very industrious again off halfback. 30 touches and 7 marks.
Yeah.
And as you say, competition for spots is heating up. Josh Ward, second game back from injury, looks to be in terrific form too. 28 touches, 6 tackles and a goal. Another guy showing that he's above that level. Ned Long wants a proper crack at it.
Well, his body of work is great.
Pushing hard as well in the same part of the ground. 23 disposals and 5 tackles. It's good. Everything that's happening at Box Hill is pretty good. I like that they once again, in the final term, just put the contest to bed. They put 4 goals on the scoreboard very early, and they've done that against other opponents as well.
But then again, at the start of the game, Fergus Green, who we've been speaking about and sort of, what's happened with him, his confidence has fallen away. Well, he played very well at the start of the game.
Okay, well, consider his output last week. 3 touches for the game and a goal. First quarter, bang, bang, bang.
3.
Yep,
Finished
3
with...
goals.
How many finished with?
5 straight.
Wow.
Yep, so Brisbane booted the first 2, and then Green, in the same term, kicked 3 himself.
Yeah.
So
Do you want to
really...
talk about Gunston now?
Poor Gunston. You see him take the photo with Bruce after the game? Just the awkward smile. He just didn't want to be it.
Well, it wasn't the best performance of him, but
No.
they don't make it easy for him.
No.
We put the ball out in front of him. We did some nice passages of play for Gunston, but look, they came for him on Sunday. Like they're like, just, what, this guy's just taking up room. And I would have thought that they just need to find a way to use him better
Yeah, probably.
because his skills are still intact. Maybe he's a little bit slower, but
But the point is,
I'll still be barracking for him in the grand
for
final.
sure. Oh, absolutely.
Finally get that norm.
Yeah, exactly. If they make it there, then absolutely, I'm all the way on Gunston. But the point is, you talk about Gunston maybe holding players out for Brisbane. This Brisbane VFL side, I mean, they weren't undefeated for no reason. They're stacked for talent. They're a very, very good team. And this is Box Hill's best win of the season. They were fantastic.
We've got Gold Coast next. After the bye, too.
Yeah, got the bye, then got Gold Coast, got to travel up to Queensland to take on them. I dare say that'll be a double header because that's been played at the same stadium as Hawthorn on the same day.
Carrara, that's the demountable stadium they have there.
Anyway, so that's a good day coming up. Sunday, June 25th. Got a bit of a really good double header there.
Yeah, we go up, get a bit of sun.
Well, let's not go too far.
That's not that far, really.
I got stuff on. Stuff to do. Hawthorn has the bye.
Do it remote.
Has the bye. Kim Wonders back from the bye. Sicily will be out. Who comes in? We're getting into team selection super early here.
You didn't mention DGB.
No, I didn't.
Box Hill lineup.
No, I didn't.
And?
Well, you would think that Frost, now given a rest, probably comes straight back in the side because there's nothing to suggest that it goes any other way and certainly not going Denver's way. I don't understand what's happening with him. He cannot crack the senior side, no matter what, apparently. He will be overlooked by anyone at this stage. And this is not, I'm not taking away from these guys I'm about to mention, but Weddle keeps on getting a game consistently over him. He's been fantastic. He's earned it. Seamus Mitchell, exactly the same. He's earned it too. Frost gets taken out of the lineup, still not good enough. Scrimshaw gets played ahead of him. It's just, what is going on?
You're not painting a good picture, too.
No, I'm not painting a good picture because it's not a good picture.
Yeah.
It's really hard to see what his future is going to be at the Hawthorn Football Club right now.
All right, now I want you to ignore the result against the Suns because we don't do well against the Suns.
That's true.
But can we go undefeated in July?
Okay, let's look at the fixture.
Sunday, 2nd of July. We have Carlton
Okay, so
at the G.
The week after the Suns, I believe we can beat Carlton. Although I've been warned off this. You've told me to not believe positively.
We're far enough away now.
Okay, all right. Okay. So we're just establishing the rules here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Saturday, July 8, we've got the Giants
On
at
their
Giants
home deck.
Stadium. Yep. I thought it might be in Canberra. That was the one they had up in the air for a little while, but that is in Giants Stadium. Touch and go.
Yeah, probably. Yep.
Then we have North at Marvel.
Yeah, I think that's a bit more touch and go. You know, we beat them earlier in the season, but I think, they've improved.
I think they've improved.
Yeah.
More than we have improved.
No. So there's a good point.
All right. Richmond, Saturday, 22nd of July at the MCG. Richmond hostess. Maybe we can nick some points there.
Oh, come on. Such bad taste. What a story.
I know.
Absolutely incredible.
Oh, God. They've got no sense of theatre, though. Right? Third quarter, just walk out. March him off.
Frog march him out of the stadium. Anywho, I guess your question was, can we beat Richmond?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can beat Richmond.
And then on the 30th, just sneaking into July,
Yeah, I was going to say, how far are you looking ahead? Jeez.
we have St Kilda. Again at Marvel, but we host this time, which is obviously
should make all
that's
the
the
difference.
advantage. So
That's just about it, mate. I mean, we could keep on retreading this Brisbane win. Honestly. That's our best win for the year. That was most enjoyable.
yeah, didn't Fags look perturbed?
Well, you think he didn't like Hawthorn before. He did come
He
out
said
and...
some lovely things.
Yeah, he did. He did. It was quite...
He's very forthright, Fags.
Yeah. Well, it can be now.
Well, yeah.
So the game's changed a little bit.
Well, I mean, we found out that he'd been forthright undercover, well, behind closed doors as well, which is what sort of progressed the issues. But yeah, I used to stand behind him at the VFL games, and he'd be talking to some of the other coaches. God, what an education!
There you go. The headline from the Hawk Talk podcast: Tiz stands behind Chris Fagan.
Yeah, but you'd stand there and he'd just be making mental notes.
Yeah.
out loud about each contest. Very, very instructive.
I've heard you do that at the MCC as well.
Yeah. Perhaps a little better.
Perhaps a little less constructive.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I had a good time, though, on the weekend.
I bet.
I didn't really hang in on anybody, to be honest.
From either side?
From either side.
From either side. Fantastic.
Yeah, well, I don't hang it on Hawthorn players.
No, I know you don't. It's all in good fun. I'm just teasing you. Because it was an even performance anyway.
Although I think I did tell Harris Andrews about how non-competitive he was on a few occasions.
He's very hot and cold, Harris Andrews, I find. But yeah, no, I thought this was a
defender in the AFL years ago.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened there. But across the board, this is a very pleasing performance. And yeah, I think we're tracking pretty well. We're heading into the bye now. And you got to say, that is the perfect note to head into the main break for our season.
Definitely. Now, let's talk about Carlton.
Oh, really?
Yeah, come on.
Okay.
Let's, we've got a bit of time.
Do we? I have to edit this.
And next week we're doing a show, right?
Yeah, for the Patreon subscribers, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. So we've got them coming up. It's sort of relevant.
You're so desperate to have a pot shot at them.
What is going on?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's fun.
Is that all you got to say about them?
Oh, I don't have too much to say about them. They are spiraling. They're circling the drain. I don't really understand how they're not getting as much as... they've got a Brownlow medalist. They've got two really quality goal kickers. I know that that's not the whole story. You
How many pick ones do they have? Is it 3 or is it 4? Because I think they pulled one out of GWS as well.
But yeah, it's just... I know that those 3 players alone isn't going to be enough, but they do have enough around those 3 players.
So, let me just put this out there. They play Gold Coast this week. Mm-hmm. Probably a good game to watch.
Yeah, I think I know where you're going with this.
Because we have Gold Coast. But while we're playing Gold Coast, Carlton have the bye.
Yeah, okay.
And then we have them after the bye.
Yes.
Do you think we're going to be meeting a team that doesn't have Voss the Boss?
It's possible. Do you have something on your laptop there in terms of where
I've just got their fixture.
Oh, that's all you've got? Okay, because I read something today about the historical significance of teams that are struggling and their coach under immense pressure
going up and playing a really shit team and then getting sacked for their performance.
Meeting Gold Coast. I believe I read...
try and think.
Well...
would it be the bloke who got sacked from Freo? The old...
I don't remember the names, but I remember the tweet outlined at least 3 instances in which a team has played Gold Coast and then...
got the arse.
Yeah, they've got the arse the next week. So... who knows? I mean, mate, I don't want Voss to lose his job right before playing us because it's the trend is you get a new coach in, they win the next week.
It's just, it's so underperforming. I look at their side and I go, gee, they'd look good in a Hawthorn jumper. Mm-hmm. They're like a little kiosk.
Yeah, no, I don't know what's happening with them, but all I can say is I certainly look forward to playing them.
Anyway, after the bye, that's how you look at other teams, isn't it? Oh, we could have them.
Yeah.
We do. We've got a big, big treasure chest.
Yep, absolutely.
We are going to come for some players.
We've had an absolute blast bringing you this episode after such a big win. If you love the show, shout it from the mountaintops, or alternatively, you can just head to Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating or review. We'd really appreciate that. It's always a thrill to see our social channels buzzing after a big win as well. We're on the doorstep of 4,400 followers on Twitter, and a big shout out to everyone who's with us over on Facebook. 3,000 followers over there now, so thank you very much for that. We're also on Instagram, where we've just surpassed 1K, so basically what I'm trying to say is get on board if you haven't already. Join this huge community of Hawthorn fans that we have around the show.
I really enjoyed that comic you made too.
Oh yeah, well it feels like it was due.
Barrett in the crosshairs. Jeez, he was quiet when Dylan Moore was on. Mm-hmm. Not a word.
Not a peep. And yet they addressed his very comments, didn't they?
Did, yeah.
And Dylan Moore was...
mind you, they weren't attributed.
No, that's my point. That's my point. It's the elephant in the room.
Some people have said you were taken.
Some people. Gee, I wonder who. They're sitting right there being awfully quiet right now. But Dylan Moore spoke on that, and he was so right in saying that it's so disrespectful from top to bottom of a football club.
So-called experts.
Yep.
So-called. Them fighting words.
Oh, I thought it was fantastic from Moore. I thought he
And-
handled it.
Oh,
It was
leader of the club.
Yep, exactly. Very measured, but powerful comments.
And he'd be a little bit cautious because we know James Sicily said, well, if he was young, he wouldn't want to live in Tassie.
Yeah.
And they came for him.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
that would have an effect on Moore too in the way that he handles the media. And I thought he was exemplary.
Of course, we need to pay tribute to our proud, passionate, and paid-up Patreon subscribers as well, the people that help make this show happen week in, week out. Now, as we said, Hawthorn is the bye next week, which means we're prepping our mid-season review podcast. That's going to be exclusive to Patreon subscribers. So there you go. If you want your fix of the Hawk Talk podcast next week, get on board. And if you do subscribe, not only will you get this upcoming episode, but also our entire back catalogue of bonus content. So for all the details, patreon.com/HawkTalkPod, and support the show.
It was a very enjoyable weekend last week because Geelong didn't have a game.
Oh, right, okay. So that was what was different.
Well, did you notice that only 2 sides had the bye?
Is that right?
Yeah.
I suppose they did, yeah.
Geelong and Gold Coast.
There was a lot of football. How do they work this stuff out?
Very odd. Very, very odd. Anyway, Thursday night, Port Adelaide versus Geelong.
No, we're doing this, are we?
Yeah. Oh, we'll both do it.
All right.
Port Adelaide on a winning streak, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. Are Geelong the team to take them down?
Yeah.
I think they could. With the ins that they've got coming in this week, I think it's possible.
They're all rumoured to be in.
I read today they were right to go. But anyway, I'll give them a chance, Geelong.
Brisbane versus Sydney on the Friday night.
Brisbane get it done.
The Giants versus Freo.
Oh,
They're a strange mob.
which one?
Freo
Yeah, I agree.
can't play in the rain.
Oh God, I'm gonna tip Freo.
St Kilda. Oh, sorry, I should read the host first. Richmond versus St Kilda at the G.
Richmond.
Ooh.
Yep, I think they're finding something.
Carlton Gold Coast. In a game you have to watch.
I've got no excuse. I'm not watching Hawthorn because we don't have a game. So, oh boy.
1:10 Sunday, perfect.
Oh, perfect time slot. Yeah, sorry, Mum. Got to watch a game this week. Hawthorn's not playing. Yeah, you don't understand.
Our key forward for next year is...
I'm going to tip Gold Coast. So, sorry, was that's here as well?
Yes, that is at the G.
I'm still going to tip Gold Coast. Can I just say, some of the footage of...
Hilarious?
No, it goes beyond hilarious because the Carlton players are coming down the race after the loss.
Oh, right. That footage. Not during the game where 2 blokes watch the ball.
Oh,
go
no,
there.
don't get me wrong. That is comic genius.
Don't leave. One guy goes, well, you're the cold medalist, and the other guy goes, but you're in front. Yeah.
Perfect. No, coming down the race after the loss, the behaviour of members.
Oh, no.
Fans in
You
general.
can't be doing that.
Absolutely ridiculous how aggressive it was. Just
That's why you have a terrible culture in the first place.
Well, yeah, if you're going to behave like that, stay home. Don't go to the footy. Don't be out with other people if you're going to be that much of a dickhead. Carlton, Gold Coast. Yeah, I'm still saying Gold Coast. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
And North Melbourne versus the Dogs, which you don't need to go into.
I'm going to say the Dogs.
Yeah.
Well, mate, we're gearing up for our mid-season podcast. How are you feeling about the season to date?
Oh, I'm extremely positive on the direction.
Yep.
We've had moments where we haven't had a key forward for a long time. We've seen... It's interesting. There's quite a few blokes that have been left out of the side, and it was their wake-up call. And they've since come on and been very, very good.
Yep.
So I have a lot of faith in the strategy that Sammy's embarking on off-field and in some ways on-field as well. Tactically, during matches, he hasn't really got me, excited for some of that. But
Yeah, still searching for a plan B here, aren't we?
well, yeah, and also a key pivotal change. Maybe it's me; I'm not noticing it. But if there's some key pivotal role changes within games,
Yeah, well, I think with Hawthorn, it's pretty clear, this understanding of what to expect.
yeah.
What's less clear is, on any given day, how well we do it. And I think we saw against Brisbane how electric and how damaging it can be when it all just comes together so well.
When you were watching that, did any other side in the league come to mind about how they play?
It reminded me a little bit of Richmond from years ago.
and Port Adelaide at all?
Yeah, Port Adelaide. Yeah, a bit.
Because I was licking my chops thinking this midfield,
Yeah.
and we're going to have some great stoushes against Port Adelaide in a few years to come.
I think so. There were some things, now that you mention it, that had some echoes of the week before, of the kind of things that Port were doing to us. Mind you, Port
Did a lot better.
Yeah, they did a lot better. But,
But they'd observed, and they'd learnt, and they'd seen how they'd been filleted, and they were going to do it to others, which I enjoyed.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Mate, we'll leave it there. Very pleasing win indeed against the Brisbane Lions as we head into the bye. Again, we're going to be bringing you guys our mid-season review
Yeah,
podcast.
I'll see you next week with a very, very dry stack of stats. Excellent.
Okay. No, these episodes, they're some of our best. We always look forward to these. And it's a chance for us to check in on what we said at the start of the season about this player, that player, what we said about opposition teams at the start of the season. Yeah, I see your face. We're holding each other to account.
Oh, no. What are you doing? Can't we be journalists and just move on?
Oh, and just never say we're wrong. Yeah, that would be the life, wouldn't it? And you get paid to do it. Oh, brilliant. So get on board for that. Patreon.com/HawkTalkPod if you want to listen to our mid-season review podcast. We will catch you there. We are a happy team at Hawthorn.